Working retail is basically a front-row ticket to the circus. But the red and white aisles of Target attract a very specific brand of absolute delusion. We are talking about grown adults throwing temper tantrums over the color of shopping carts, demanding cash refunds for completely eaten food, and openly arguing with automated checkout machines. Today, we are exposing the 69 dumbest, weirdest, and most unhinged complaints Target employees have ever received. If you thought you knew how bad customer service could get, you are not even close to ready for this level of retail insanity. 1. Imagine having the absolute nerve to return a completely empty plastic bakery dome. A woman confidently slammed this transparent shell on the guest service counter and demanded a full refund for a custom birthday cake. Her reasoning was beautifully unhinged. She claimed the frosting was far too sweet, but confessed she only realized this tragic flaw after her entire family consumed the entire sheet cake at the party. She literally wanted Target to pay her for the calories. 2. One furious guy caused an absolute scene in the electronics department because nobody would help him activate his new smartphone. The massive problem was that he had a giant blue Best Buy bag sitting in his shopping cart. When the tech employee gently pointed out that he was currently standing inside a Target, the man doubled down. He loudly argued that all big-box retail stores are secretly owned by the exact same shadow corporation, so the location shouldn't matter at all. 3. You would not believe how many people think Bullseye the dog is a local resident. A very aggressive mother demanded to speak to the store manager because the official mascot was not roaming the aisles to greet her toddler. When staff explained the dog does not live in the back warehouse behind the toilet paper, she filed a formal corporate complaint. She seriously accused the store of hiding the dog just to ruin her Tuesday afternoon shopping trip. 4. Wearing a red polo shirt into Target is basically a death wish. One shopper got violently angry when a random guy standing in the cereal aisle refused to go check the back room for a specific brand of oat milk. The guy was actually just a local high school gym teacher buying groceries. The angry lady stormed to the front desk and complained that Target was allowing rogue civilians to impersonate employees just to publicly humiliate her. 5. Target is universally famous for its bright crimson branding, but that absolutely offended one highly sensitive shopper. This guy wrote a blistering email claiming the aggressive red decor was a form of psychological warfare designed to raise his blood pressure. His completely serious demand was for his local store to repaint the giant outdoor concrete marketing spheres to a soothing lavender purple, simply because he was trying to practice mindfulness while buying discount paper towels. 6. A totally normal Sunday afternoon was shattered when a guy started openly arguing with a self-checkout machine. He furiously complained to the nearest attendant that the automated voice thanking him for his purchase sounded incredibly sarcastic and deeply condescending. He honestly believed the robot was judging his decision to buy 3 frozen pizzas and a single bottle of cheap wine. He refused to leave until the manager officially reprimanded the machine. 7. We have all suffered through the agony of a shopping cart with one bad wheel, but one dramatic customer treated it like a federal crime. He dragged his cart all the way to the service desk, abandoning a massive pile of melting ice cream just to complain about the noise. He loudly claimed the rhythmic squeaking was triggering temporary hearing loss and demanded Target pay for an immediate medical evaluation by a licensed audiologist. 8. A deeply offended customer filed a formal complaint against the automatic hand sanitizer station near the entrance. She claimed the motion sensor was programmed with an aggressive attitude because it quickly squirted a large blob of gel onto her palm. She demanded the store manager physically discipline the plastic dispenser and replace it with a pump bottle that had a more respectful, customer service-oriented personality. 9. A teenager stormed out of the women's fitting room and demanded an audience with the store director because the mirrors were allegedly rigged. She claimed the fluorescent lighting and mirror angles were part of a massive corporate conspiracy designed to make her look 10 pounds heavier. Why? So she would be forced to buy expensive baggy sweatshirts instead of the crop tops she actually wanted. She threatened to expose this psychological warfare on social media. 10. Having a Starbucks built right inside the store is a massive perk for most of us, but not for one highly specific health nut. This guy filed a massive written complaint stating that the smell of brewing espresso was contaminating the natural aura of the fresh produce section 50 feet away. He passionately demanded the store install a giant glass dome around the cafe to prevent the roasted bean particles from ever touching his organic bananas. 11. Imagine having the sheer audacity to return a completely flat cardboard box of trash bags. A guy brought in the empty packaging and demanded a cash refund because the plastic bags were of incredibly terrible quality. When the baffled employee asked where the defective bags actually were, the customer casually explained that he used all 80 of them to throw out his heavy yard waste. He seriously thought he deserved his money back because they ripped on the way to the dump. 12. An angry shopper marched directly into the women's clothing department and started yelling about the headless display mannequins. She claimed the lack of facial features was deeply unsettling and created a highly hostile shopping environment. The woman insisted that every single plastic figure needed a fully painted face with a welcoming smile so she could properly visualize how the summer outfits would look on a real human being with an actual pulse. 13. A pristine public bathroom is a rare treasure, but one extremely picky lady still found a reason to complain. She marched to the front registers to protest the scent of the free foam soap in the ladies' room. She claimed the generic floral smell violently clashed with her expensive designer perfume and demanded that Target start stocking the commercial dispensers with a high-end vanilla musk. She even offered to provide a list of acceptable luxury brands. 14. You know those people who absolutely despise early holiday decorations? One lady took it to the extreme by attempting to physically blockade the seasonal aisle in mid-October. She aggressively complained to the manager that seeing artificial Christmas trees right next to the Halloween candy was a direct violation of her civil rights. She actually demanded that staff cover the entire festive section with heavy black tarps until the exact morning after Thanksgiving. 15. Guest services workers see the absolute worst logic, like the woman who tried to return a glass jar candle that was completely burned down to the bottom. She angrily complained that the candle was defective because the wax disappeared after she left it lit for an entire week straight. She was dead serious when she demanded the employee take the empty charred glass to the back room and manually refill it with fresh vanilla wax. 16. We all know that tiny, awkward pause before automatic sliding doors open. But one incredibly impatient guy took it as a deeply personal insult. He aggressively complained to the loss prevention guard that the motion sensor was deliberately ignoring him because he was wearing a blue jacket. He honestly believed the store doors were programmed to only grant immediate entry to people wearing the company color, and he demanded a formal apology from corporate engineering. 17. Retail workers love the mystical backroom, mostly because customers think it is a magical warehouse of endless treasures. One extremely heated woman demanded a manager because the shelf was completely empty of a highly specific clearance candle. When told they were sold out, she loudly accused the staff of hiding the good inventory in the back room just to spite her personally. She seriously thought minimum wage employees were hoarding discounted wax for themselves. 18. An incredibly paranoid shopper refused to walk through the front doors, choosing instead to stand out in the parking lot and demand curbside service for a single pack of chewing gum. He filed a bizarre complaint stating the giant red bullseye logo above the entrance was a subliminal hypnosis tool. He confidently told the manager that walking under the glowing red rings would scramble his brainwaves and magically force him to buy overpriced throw pillows. 19. A serious germaphobe demanded a massive 50% discount on a kitchen blender simply because she witnessed another customer touch the box. The previous shopper had just picked it up, read the nutritional information on the side, and put it right back on the shelf. The complaining woman told the cashier that the appliance was now technically secondhand and completely compromised. She genuinely expected retail stores to maintain a sterile vacuum environment for every product. 20. A self-proclaimed local paranormal investigator threw a massive fit because the store was simply too clean and well lit. She brought an entire duffel bag of ghost hunting equipment into the home decor section and complained to security that the corporate environment was actively repelling spiritual energy. She formally demanded that management turn off all the overhead fluorescent lights in aisle 12 so she could conduct a proper seance near the heavily discounted decorative candles. 21. A guy tried to return a queen-sized air mattress on a Monday morning because it kept losing air during the night. The employee noticed the mattress was covered in grass stains and literally smelled like a campfire. When questioned, the customer admitted he used it for a 3-day music festival in the middle of a muddy field. He argued that the heavy-duty label meant it should survive a literal rock concert and demanded a brand new replacement for his next outdoor adventure. 22. The Bullseye Playground section is a fan favorite, but one woman took the name way too literally. She filled her entire cart with items from those bins and then had a complete meltdown at the register when her total was over $50. She screamed that a dollar spot implies everything costs exactly $1 regardless of the price tag on the item. She actually accused the store of predatory pricing and demanded to see a printed copy of the local consumer protection laws. 23. Every August, Target employees brace themselves for the return of the giant inflatable pools. One family dragged a massive, soaking wet pool directly onto the service desk, leaving a literal trail of swamp water across the floor. They claimed the water just would not stay cold enough for their liking during the 100-degree heat wave. They were absolutely outraged when the employee refused to touch the slimy, mosquito-infested plastic without wearing heavy-duty hazmat gloves and a face mask. 24. Curbside pickup is meant to be convenient, but some people have zero concept of how time actually works. One lady pulled into the parking spot, tapped the "I am here" button on her phone, and then started honking her horn aggressively after exactly 45 seconds. She marched inside to file a complaint, claiming she was being targeted and ignored by the staff. She honestly believed the teenage workers should be sprinting through the parking lot like Olympic athletes the moment her car entered the zip code. 25. Store music is usually just generic pop songs, but one customer found the playlist to be a direct threat to his personal sanity. He tracked down a floor associate and demanded they skip the current Taylor Swift song because the high notes were giving his emotional support golden retriever a massive headache. He insisted that the store manager should allow him to plug his own iPhone into the PA system so he could play 6 hours of heavy metal to balance out the vibes. 26. A guy spent 20 minutes arguing with a cashier because a box of laundry detergent did not have a yellow clearance sticker on it. He claimed he saw a ghost of a sticker on the shelf, and therefore the store was legally obligated to give him the item for 75% off. He actually accused the employees of secretly peeling off the discount labels right before he arrived just to make sure he paid full price for his Tide Pods. 27. Most people understand that the display furniture is bolted to the shelves for a reason, but one determined shopper tried to bypass physics. He was caught trying to unscrew a mid-century modern coffee table from the floor, using a heavy-duty screwdriver he brought from home. When security stopped him, he filed a complaint stating that the store was teasing him with products they refused to sell. He could not understand why he couldn't just dismantle the floor model right then and there. 28. The day after Christmas is a retail nightmare, specifically because of people like the guy who tried to return a bone-dry, needle-shedding pine tree. He claimed the tree was defective because it did not stay green until New Year Day, even though he admitted he never once put water in the stand. He stood in the return line for 2 hours with a dead tree, demanding a full refund and a gift card to compensate him for the mess in his living room. 29. Retail confusion is real, but some people take it to an impressive level. A woman tried to pay for a massive haul of clothes using a Walmart gift card. When it obviously did not work, she started screaming at the teenage cashier, accusing the store of being part of a giant corporate monopoly. She insisted that since both stores sell the same brands of cereal, they should obviously share the same financial system. She refused to leave until the manager called Walmart Corporate to transfer the balance. 30. Those little disinfectant wipes at the entrance are a lifesaver, unless you are the lady who found them to be way too moist. She filed a formal complaint at guest services, claiming the wet wipes were a deliberate slip and fall hazard designed to injure elderly shoppers. She demanded that an employee stand by the front door and hand dry every single shopping cart handle with a blow dryer before she would even consider touching the metal. 31. Target often runs promotions where you get a $5 gift card if you buy 3 boxes of diapers. One man was absolutely livid because he thought the gift card was supposed to be deducted from his current total. He spent 10 minutes shouting that the word free was a lie because he still had to pay for the diapers first. He actually accused the store of running a pyramid scheme and demanded the manager give him the $5 in cash from the register drawer. 32. A woman complained that the fitting room doors did not provide enough privacy, despite the fact that she was the one who left her door wide open while trying on a swimsuit. She yelled at a passing employee for catching a glimpse of her, claiming the store layout was intentionally designed to voyeuristically exploit shoppers. She demanded a private dressing room with a deadbolt lock and a security guard standing outside to protect her modesty while she shopped for bikinis. 33. The power of social media is terrifying, especially when a certain pink water bottle goes viral. One customer had a literal breakdown because the store was out of the latest limited edition Stanley Cup. She filed a complaint claiming the employees were secretly buying all the stock and selling it on eBay during their lunch breaks. She demanded to see the personal lockers of every staff member to prove they were not hoarding the tumblers for themselves. 34. Price matching is a great tool, but it does not work for random websites from the deep web. A guy tried to get a brand new iPad for $50 because he found a listing on a site called supercheapelectronics.info. When the employee explained they only match major retailers like Amazon, the guy went ballistic. He accused Target of being elitist and claimed they were discriminating against small businesses that clearly had better deals on high-end tech. 35. Imagine trying to return a houseplant that has been dead for so long it has turned into a pile of gray dust. A woman brought in a shriveled cactus and claimed it was a defective product because it died after only 6 months of zero sunlight and no water. She argued that since the pot said easy care, the plant should have been immortal. She demanded a full refund plus the cost of the gas she spent driving to the store to return the corpse. 36. Closing time is never fun, but one shopper thought the 10 p.m. cutoff was a personal attack on her lifestyle. She was still browsing the shoe aisle at 10:15 when the lights started to dim. She marched to the front and filed a formal complaint, claiming that closing the store while she was still undecided was a form of consumer negligence. She honestly believed the entire staff should stay on the clock until she found the perfect pair of sandals. 37. Some stores have a little bell at the service desk for when an employee is in the back. One man treated this bell like he was a king summoning his servants. He rang it 50 times in a row within 30 seconds, then filed a complaint that the noise of the bell gave him a panic attack. He literally blamed the store for providing a bell that was too loud and demanding, despite being the one who was aggressively ringing it the whole time. 38. Believe it or not, a customer once complained about the parking lot stripes being too straight and bright. He claimed the fresh white paint was causing a blinding glare that made it impossible for him to navigate his massive SUV. He suggested that the store should use a more muted, natural beige color for the parking spots to better blend in with the surrounding environment and reduce the visual stress on his very sensitive eyes. 39. A woman tried to return a set of king-sized sheets that were clearly covered in dog hair and smelled like a kennel. Her complaint was that the thread count did not feel like a true 800 as advertised on the package. When the employee pointed out the obvious signs of heavy use, the lady argued that her golden retriever was the one who did the testing, and since he could not sleep through the night, the sheets were clearly a fraudulent product. 40. Perfectionists are the hardest customers to please. One guy demanded a 30% discount on a box of Lego because there was a tiny microscopic crease on the corner of the cardboard box. He claimed he was a high-end collector, and the slight dent reduced the resale value of the toy by hundreds of dollars. He spent 30 minutes arguing that Target was responsible for his future financial losses because their shelf stocking was too aggressive. 41. In states with plastic bag bans, the 10-cent fee is a constant source of drama. One man had a complete meltdown over paying a single dime for a bag to carry his $100 grocery haul. He filed a complaint stating that the fee was a hidden tax designed to fund a secret corporate space program. He ended up carrying 40 individual items to his car by hand, dropping several jars of salsa in the process, and then blamed the store for his broken jars. 42. A customer once filed a complaint because a specific clearance item was cheaper in the store than it was on the website. She claimed this was a form of geographic discrimination and demanded that Target pay for her high-speed internet bill since she wasted her data looking at the wrong price. She could not wrap her head around the fact that local inventory clearances are handled differently than national online pricing. 43. Rain happens, but one shopper thought Target should be able to control the weather. She marched inside soaked to the bone and complained that the shopping carts in the outdoor corral were wet. She demanded that an employee go outside with a towel and hand dry every single one of the 300 metal carts before she would start her shopping. She honestly believed it was the store's responsibility to provide a moisture-free outdoor experience. 44. This one is pure delusion. A man confidently strolled up to the counter in late April to return a heavily scratched salt-stained snow shovel. His complaint was that the product was completely useless now that the weather had warmed up and the winter season was over. He was absolutely shocked and offended when the manager explained that changing seasons do not qualify as a manufacturing defect, calling the store's policy a massive corporate scam. 45. A guy complained that the self-checkout scanners were too efficient. He claimed that the laser was so fast it was accidentally scanning items twice while they were still in his cart. When the employee showed him the security footage proving he was actually just double scanning things himself, he shifted gears. He filed a complaint stating the machine was gaslighting him and making him feel incompetent in front of the other shoppers. 46. A woman tried to return a half-eaten bag of green grapes because she found a single tiny seed in a bag labeled as seedless. She made a massive scene at the guest service desk, claiming that this one seed was a life-threatening choking hazard that nearly sent her to the emergency room. She demanded not just a refund, but a lifetime supply of produce to compensate her for the sheer psychological trauma of almost swallowing a grape pit. 47. We all know those people who buy ice cream and then run 5 other errands before going home. One guy brought back a literal puddle of melted chocolate milk that used to be a premium pint of Haagen-Dazs. He complained that the store freezers were clearly defective because the ice cream turned to liquid while he was sitting in the parking lot for an hour taking a phone call. He honestly expected Target to pay for his inability to manage his own time. 48. One incredibly frustrated mother filed a formal complaint because the toy department did not have a play area for her children. She argued that since Target sells toys, they are legally obligated to provide a free daycare service while she browses the home goods section. She actually told the manager that it was the store's fault her toddler knocked over a display of glass vases because the environment was not stimulating enough for a 3-year-old. 49. A guy tried to return a digital thermometer because it gave him a different reading every time he used it. The employee asked for a demonstration, and the man proceeded to try and take his temperature through his thick winter jacket. When the worker explained that the sensor needs actual skin contact to work, the guy got livid. He complained that the product was discriminatory against people who live in cold climates and demanded a thermometer that could read through layers of wool. 50. Price tags are usually pretty clear, but one shopper thought the numbers were just a starting point for a negotiation. He brought a toaster to the register and offered the cashier half the price, claiming he saw a similar one at a garage sale for $5. When the cashier explained that Target is not a flea market, the man filed a complaint stating that the store was being inflexible and hurting the local economy by refusing to haggle with loyal customers. 51. A woman complained that the store was being far too loud, specifically citing the sound of other people's shoes on the floor. She demanded that Target install thick, wall-to-wall carpeting throughout the entire building to dampen the noise of footsteps. She argued that the sound of sneakers on polished concrete was a form of sensory assault, and that the retail experience should be as silent as a prestigious university library. 52. The grocery section can be a battlefield, especially when someone discovers a dented can. One guy demanded a 90% discount on a can of soup because the label was slightly wrinkled. He claimed that the aesthetic imperfection made the food inside taste like metallic failure. He spent 10 minutes lecturing the floor associate on the importance of shelf appeal and how Target was personally responsible for his declining appetite. 53. Imagine complaining that the store is too big. One shopper filed a written grievance stating that walking from the pharmacy to the milk section was an exhausting trek that required a rest stop. She demanded that Target provide motorized scooters for every single customer, regardless of their physical health, so they wouldn't have to suffer the indignity of walking across the building to buy a gallon of orange juice. 54. A woman tried to return a bottle of expensive shampoo because it did not make her look like the model on the front of the packaging. She was dead serious when she told the manager that the product was a form of false advertising. She claimed that after 3 washes, her hair was still the same color and length, and therefore the company owed her a full refund and a professional salon treatment to fix the emotional damage. 55. One guy got incredibly angry because the store was out of a very specific brand of dog food that had been discontinued 5 years ago. He accused the staff of hiding the vintage cans in a secret bunker beneath the store. He honestly believed that retail employees have a personal vendetta against his golden retriever and are deliberately withholding the good food just to watch his pet suffer through a slightly different brand. 56. A customer once complained that the red shirts worn by employees were a shade of crimson that triggered her childhood fear of fire trucks. She demanded that the staff on her shift wear neutral gray tones whenever she entered the building. When the manager politely declined to change the entire corporate uniform policy for one person, she filed a complaint with corporate, claiming the store was creating a hostile and triggering environment. ISFA 57. The self-checkout lanes are a constant source of Karen energy. One lady screamed at the machine because it told her to please wait for assistance. She filed a complaint stating that the computer was publicly shaming her for not knowing how to scan a bag of organic kale. She felt that the flashing yellow light above her head was a digital scarlet letter that made every other shopper think she was a common shoplifter. 58. A man tried to return a burnt-out light bulb that he had clearly owned for at least 3 years. His reasoning was that the box said the bulb was rated for 10,000 hours, but he felt it only gave him 9,000. When the employee asked if he had a log of every hour the light was on, the man got offended. He claimed that a loyal Target customer's word should be more than enough evidence to justify a full cash refund. 59. One woman complained that the store's air conditioning was too effective during the month of July. She marched to the front desk wearing a heavy parka and demanded the manager turn the heat on because she was catching a cold while looking at the frozen peas. She argued that the store was deliberately trying to freeze out its customers so they would finish their shopping faster and leave the building. 60. A customer once filed a complaint because the store did not have a dedicated parking spot for people who drive red cars. He honestly believed that since the Target logo is red, he should be given a VIP space right at the front as a reward for his color coordination. He called the lack of specialized parking a missed branding opportunity and an insult to his personal style and loyalty to the crimson aesthetic. 61. Imagine returning a box of cereal because the prize inside was not what you expected. A guy brought back an open box of Fruit Loops and demanded his money back because the tiny plastic toy was a repeat of one he already had. He argued that the store was responsible for the randomness of the packaging and that he shouldn't be penalized for Target's failure to provide a diverse selection of cheap plastic junk. 62. A woman caused a massive delay at self-checkout because she was deeply offended by the tiny security monitor that shows your face while you scan. She complained to the attendant that the high-definition camera angle was highly unflattering and highlighted her bad hair day. She absolutely refused to pay for her groceries until the store installed a ring light and an automatic beauty filter over the lens to protect her personal self-esteem. 63. A shopper threw an absolute tantrum at the register because the cashier removed the plastic hangers from her new shirts and put them in a bin under the counter. She filed a formal complaint claiming those hangers were part of the outfit's structural integrity and that Target was stealing from her. She actually demanded that the store supply her with an entirely new wardrobe since the original garments had been illegally dismantled. 64. A shopper filed a formal complaint because the store's background music was not synchronized with her walking pace. She claimed that the upbeat pop songs were forcing her to shop faster than she wanted to, which was a form of corporate mind control. She demanded that Target provide personal headphones at the entrance with a selection of different tempos so that every individual could shop at their own preferred rhythmic speed. 65. A man tried to return a bag of charcoal on a rainy day because the briquettes got wet when he left them in the bed of his truck. He argued that the paper bag should have been 100% waterproof and that Target was responsible for the ruined barbecue. He sat in the returns line for an hour, dripping water everywhere, while loudly complaining that modern packaging is a scam, designed to fail the moment it touches a raindrop. 66. One lady was absolutely livid because the store did not sell milk in glass bottles like it was the 1950s. She filed a complaint stating that the plastic jugs were a sign of the moral decay of society and that Target was personally responsible for the loss of American tradition. She refused to buy the milk and instead spent 20 minutes lecturing the dairy clerk on the benefits of the old-fashioned milkman delivery system. 67. A customer complained that the carts were too deep, making it difficult for her to reach her items at the bottom without bending over. She demanded that the store provide rising floor carts that would automatically lift the groceries to chest height as the cart emptied. She claimed that Target was being ageist by expecting people to exercise their core muscles while unloading a 12-pack of soda at the checkout line. 68. One guy tried to return a movie he had already watched, claiming that the plot was too predictable and he didn't enjoy the ending. He argued that since the entertainment value was not met, the product was technically defective. He compared it to a meal at a restaurant, saying that if you don't like the steak, you get your money back, so why should a poorly written Hollywood blockbuster be any different? 69. To finish things off, we have the customer who complained that there were too many other people in the store. She marched up to the manager on a busy Saturday afternoon and demanded that they close the doors to the public so she could finish her shopping in peace. She honestly believed that her status as a frequent shopper entitled her to a private boutique experience in a massive multi-billion-dollar retail chain. After hearing all that, I am officially convinced that Target employees deserve daily hazard pay just for listening to these people speak. Which of these insane complaints made you want to permanently ban someone from a store? Or better yet, if you have ever worked in retail, what is the absolute most unhinged thing a customer has ever complained to you about? Drop your wildest nightmare stories in the comments right now because I need to read them. Hit that like button if these people made you lose your mind, subscribe to the channel for more ridiculous stories, and I will see you in the next one.